Tonight, the team and I have a very special interview with our dear friend MaryLynn Bast. She's a paranormal investigator, a psychic medium, a fellow co-host with me on Blondes and Booze. She is also on Beacon TV with Para with the Normal, and she's also a part of Lost Goat Productions. Tonight, she's going to talk to us all about her paranormal encounters, what she has experienced in the field, how she got started, as well as how she tolerates Mike Gagliano. Just saying. All right, stay tuned for her encounters that are beyond the ordinary. Hey everyone, thank you. And MaryLynn, thank you for joining us. So happy to have you here. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me.
Awesome, awesome. Well, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I am a psychic medium and I'm also the owner founder of Lost Goat Productions and have a TV show, Para with the Normal, and a podcast that is Lost Goat Podcast. And then I'm also on with Blondes and the Booze with Natalie.
Yes, you are. We have a lot of fun on Blondes and Booze.
We do have a lot of fun.
And you have a co-host. Tell us a little bit about your co-host.
My co-host on
Para with the Normal.
For Pair with the Normal, my co-host is Michael Galliano. He is a comedian. And with me being a psychic, I am trying to teach him the ropes. And let's just say that he does not learn or he does not retain very well. And it's something that is like continually having to reteach him. It's like having probably like a 4 or 5 year old running around trying to herd him in. And he always has to have his snacks. And when he shows up when we're doing our filming, I never know what he's going to do or what he's going to be wearing. He has this, I don't know what his budget is for on his costumes, but I never know what he's going to show up in. So, and I think Greg he was on one of our episodes and he actually got to experience one of his costumes.
I did get to experience one of his costumes, and it was a bit disturbing.
Yeah, because if we're not extremely specific with him, so we told him that he needed to wear tights because we were going to be out in the woods hunting Bigfoot. And so he decides to wear these tights. Let's just say that they were crotchless and
oh dear.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I don't want to know any more about his crotchless tights.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and they were bright green. So he shows up in what, a ghillie suit, like he's going to be hiding, and then these bright green tights. So that's the kind of stuff that I have to deal with. And we actually told him to bring a tent because we were going to be camping out, and he brings this little kitty tent and he's trying to set that up and sleep in it. So he's in a fetal position in the tent. So
should go camping with Greg.
Mine, but
Greg has a tent that's so luxurious. It has a modesty screen that divides the two bits. So it's really. I had a question for you anyway, MaryLynn, and I've been really looking forward to asking you this.
Okay.
So it's the start of the new year, and in advance of speaking to you tonight, because I don't know you, I was looking at all these predictions for the year from psychics and from trendsetters and from stock market people. I was looking at all these things. If you had to make one prediction for this year that really sticks in your mind because you can see the future, what would you do?
For the prediction, I just think that people are kind of on the crazy side right now, and it's like, everybody's just pitting against each other, and it's almost like a civil war going on. It's like, left against the right and all that, and it's just something that I think the prediction there's going to be a lot of unrest and a lot of headbutting, but towards the end of the year, I believe there's going to be something that they'll kind of come to terms and straighten up a little bit. It's almost like, like I was saying earlier, like a little
Like a
4-year-old
reconciliation.
fighting. Yeah.
Now, I had one follow-up question, then I know the ladies and Greg want to ask the question, but one of the points that seem to be coming up amongst psychics is that Donald Trump may well have to resign due to ill health, not because of some scandal or something,
Right.
but just because he has a heart problem or something else like that. Do you think that's likely to happen or not?
I don't feel that he's going to resign. He's going to push it until he absolutely has to do something, but I don't see him resigning. It's going to be forced upon him
It's going to be forced upon him. Why?
because of the health issues.
Because of the health issues. This
Yeah.
year?
It's going to start more towards the end of the year and go into next year.
Good. I love it when you look up. Like, are you thinking of something, or
Well,
do you
no,
have a
that's where my guides,
That's where your
when
guides
they're
are,
talking.
right?
Yes. So that's my guides and they're instructing me on the information.
Cool. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Hey, MaryLynn, you talk about your guides. Um, what what kind of or how should I say, do you get your information? Does it sound like somebody's talking to you, or does it just appear in your head, or how does that come about?
So for me, it comes in multiple forms, like with him asking questions or with you guys asking me, it's like they will just give me a thought. Or if I'm reading somebody or, connecting with somebody, they comes across as a bunch of movie screens and I can see those different movies playing and I have to pick and choose which one is associated with the questions or, with what we're doing at the moment. And I also hear and then I can also see things that are happening, but for the most part, it's almost like a thought, and I can hear them in my head, and it's like I hear their voice telling me what it is.
Oh, interesting. When you're reading somebody, um, does it come across the same way, kind of uh, like a movie screen, or
It does. And that's where, there'll be, it depends on how many people are around. Like everybody here right now, I'll see 4 to up to 10 movie screens, and all of this stuff is playing with other people around. It's like, okay, that one goes to that person. So I have to associate, okay, this is the timeline that's happening here. This is the timeline here. How do those correlate? So it's just a really quick me looking up, figuring it out, putting it together, and then answering the questions. And it's like I have to literally figure out what they are showing me and what they're telling me.
I have a two-part question for you, MaryLynn. I've always wanted to ask. I've actually talked to a couple of people who are mediums before, but I don't know why I didn't think to ask this. But what is the best part for you about being a medium, and then what's the hardest part?
For me, the best part is being able to give the answers and just seeing the happiness and the emotion. Even sometimes it's sad, but it's just them knowing that they've got that closure or they've got the messages that they wanted. The hardest part is giving those negative messages and just being able to tell them what they really don't want to hear.
Mhm.
But I do. And it's something that, is like I'm very selective. If I don't know the person very well, then it's like I'm selective on how detailed I'll go into it because I don't know how they're going to react. And that's
And
something is, I worry about that.
And I guess one other question to follow up with that is, since you do this, I guess, on a regular basis, you can't help it. um, how um, how how accurate are you? Do you feel like you're pretty accurate?
I'm pretty accurate. I've not had anybody come back and say you were just completely off base. So for I would say probably 95%. I would, I can feel comfortable saying that because if it's something that I'm unsure of, I'm just going to let you know. It's like, this is what I'm seeing, but I'm not feeling really strong about it. So it's something that, and nobody's 100%. Nobody.
Right. Absolutely. Well, thank you. I've always wanted to know this.
You're welcome.
MaryLynn, I have a question. So at what age or about when did you kind of realize that you had these abilities?
I knew from a very young age because I was able to talk to people, but at 4 years old is when my mother realized that I actually had abilities. I was sitting on the front porch and I was petting the cat that was in my lap, and I was talking to the lady when she comes out and she's asked me, "What are you doing and who are you talking to?" So I explained to her, the lady, and she said, "There's nobody there." And I said, "Well, I'm petting the cat." And she's like, "There is no cat there." So I explained, what they look like. And come to find out, we had just moved into the house. We were renting. And the lady who had lived there had moved across the street. Her mother owned the house across the street and had passed away. So that's why she moved over there and rented out the smaller house. Well, it was whenever my mom went over talking to her to give her the rent money, I was with her and I pointed at a picture and I was like, "That's the lady I talked to." And that was like kind of freaked my mom out. And then it's like all of a sudden we found out the cat was the lady's cat that had gotten out of the house 2 weeks after she had passed and had gotten hit by a car, and she was coming back home. And so come to find out, when the daughter lived in the house, she also has a daughter that was my age at that time. So grandma was coming over to visit.
Oh my gosh, that's incredible.
Yeah. So I just know for me it was even younger than that because it was just something natural. But for my mom to point it out, I was 4.
So, sorry, I have one more question.
Mhm.
Do you kind of think that these abilities come from like the maternal family line, or have you experienced that? Is your mother gifted in this type of thing as well?
My mother was not gifted. It actually came from my father's side from his mother. So it was just kind of back to there. My father had nothing. But, and it's like all of a sudden, as I just show up with having these abilities, and then my daughter has abilities, and my younger son has abilities as well. Even though he doesn't want to say that he does, he does.
Yeah, that's amazing. Absolutely.
I mean, I like that bouncing off what Jamie said, because in my family, it's my father's side of the family. Yeah, so my father sees auras, and my grandmother was a well-known psychic. So
Okay.
I'm very comfortable with the idea of it. So I'm asking you this question out of curiosity. I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but you're looking at these people because Greg talked about guides. And can you see, if you look at us now, you don't have to answer this question, can you see any guides around us or anybody there that's looking over us? And if so, who might it be?
Okay, so everybody, for me, whenever I'm looking at you, you actually have people that are in the background. And for me, I see them all as shadows.
Oh,
So
right.
whenever I connect, they'll start moving forward. So that's why when people say they're afraid of the shadows, for me, you don't have to be afraid of the shadows because they're just on the other side of the realm. So as I'm looking, I see them. And then, like, if I connect with you, then your people will start stepping forward. And then that's who, for me, is like, as I'm looking at you, on the side for you would be on your mom's side. This is your dad's side. Down the middle is distant relatives and friends.
Mhm,
So you have quite a few that's on your mom's side. There's some that's on your dad, but it's like they come in and out. But
mhm.
everybody on the panel actually has everybody is with them. So you've got somebody that you also have an animal that comes around you as well.
I do.
So you do,
Or
yes,
I do.
you
Okay.
do.
Very
But
cool.
and because I connect with animals too, but you
All right.
have everybody has a guide.
Hmm.
Some people have more. You
Hmm.
actually have 3 guides that are around you.
I have 3, do I?
You have
Wow.
3, but you
Who
only
are those? Who are
listen to
those
2 of
3?
them.
Sorry.
Said you only listen to 2 of them.
I only
It's like
listen. That would make sense. That would make perfect sense. You're
yeah,
not
because
talking about the past relationship choices, are you, Marilyn? We need to do this offline if you are.
okay, we can follow
I
up.
don't want to take up all the time, but I am very intrigued. Who would my 3 be? Do you know?
I have not connected to find out names or anything like that, but if I connect with you, then let's connect after the show and we'll
Oh
talk.
yeah, cool. We'll have a talk. We'll definitely have
Okay.
a talk. I've got a funny story to tell you. I won't keep it on too long. But you know, when you said about animals, I've always loved animals. I had cats that maybe it's cats because I had cats quite a lot when I was younger. But there was this. This is not trivializing this stuff, but it's just a story. So Craig, feel free to cut this if you want. But I did have a friend who went to a medium, and I thought she was dubious. I don't think that in your case. I absolutely don't. Everybody loves you and talks very highly of you, so don't want you to think that. He said there's an animal trying to connect with me. He said it's an animal, and he said the psychic can't name the animal. Yeah, so I'm going back. Anyway, he went back 3 times. Yeah, and she said he comes back really annoyed. He said it was my mum's bloody dead budgie. He said I spent 250 quid trying to get hold of it, and all it did was say she was pecking on my shoulder like that. It's not a waste of money. It
That's
just made me
usually
think
what-
of it.
That's a lot of what happens a lot of times, and they'll tell you that because I've even had them come up to me in the store. It's like, you got somebody that's trying to connect with you. Can I talk with you outside? And I'm like, well, no, because I connect with my own guides. So thank you. But they'll try to get that, and it's like all it is for money. And it's
Yeah, no, it clearly
ridiculous.
was, and it's absolutely not in your case. I can't emphasize that enough. It just
Yeah.
popped into my head because
That was
that's
funny.
the weirdo that I am. So there we go. Anyway, I'll let other people ask questions.
So, MaryLynn, we know each other quite well. And
do.
so you have a special gift, an artistic gift that that you have that you're going to be showcasing at the Vanished premiere and Paracon. Can you explain that a little bit?
It is actually, I don't know if you're familiar with paint pouring, but I take acrylic paints and I connect psychically, spiritually with individuals. And as I'm putting the paints together, I'll have them tell me, 3 colors that they want. Sometimes I'll get the message I need to add another color or, maybe 2 or 3. So as I put them together, there's always something that comes out in the paintings. And it's something that is associated with that individual, and none of them are ever the same. I can set them up the same, have the same colors, do it exactly the same steps, and you never get 2 that are alike.
Yeah, I personally saw
I've never
some,
heard of that. That's
and
interesting.
it is fascinating.
Yeah, I've
Just
never heard of that. Mm.
Yeah, because I haven't seen anybody else doing it. And so what started me doing that is
Mm.
I actually saw someone doing the paint pouring, and I was like, well, that's a lot of wasted paint. I want to see if I can do it, just learn how to do it and not waste that much paint. Well, in the beginning, you're going to waste the paint. So you learn. But I was listening to a podcast, and then I started connecting with the person because I knew who she was and I knew him. And then all of a sudden, these things start coming through. So I snapped a picture and I sent it to them, and they're like, oh my God, and it was things that was associated with her dad and his mom and just all the stuff, and it started coming through. And I'm like, this is something. So then I started really connecting with other people and trying it, and it works. So it's something that I'm enjoying doing. And I probably have 300 paintings that's just sitting in my garage that I was playing with.
That
MaryLynn,
is so awesome.
if I wanted to start doing that, could I start doing that with like crayons or something about the paint?
Is there something about the paint?
Yes. Could you do it can I do it in crayons?
Well, that would just be coloring. So, but yes, you could actually do it. But that's kind of like scribing. So if you're wanting to do something and connect with somebody, just what is it going to come through? So you can.
We only give him crayons. He's looking for an opportunity to diversify. Maybe this is a psychic line.
Yeah,
Right.
he's only allowed so many crayons per week. It's just,
You can't eat them.
yes.
I'm channeling my inner Marine.
You can't eat them because they don't come out the same.
No, no, you can't just color the toilet. You can't do it, Greg. Stop trying.
Nope.
Darn,
That's
busted my
no,
bubble.
no.
Oh,
Like, hey, my mind just, yeah.
No. Can you imagine? Here, let me eat these crayons and let me predict your future in 3 days.
Oh, no, I don't fancy Greg doing that.
Yeah.
Oh my
I can
gosh.
see Craig doing that.
Oh,
So-
no.
so with your guides, because we're focusing around that, and I think it's a really interesting point. Do they choose you, or do you choose them, like subconsciously? How do you your guides come to be? So you said you have guides. Greg has guides. I have 3 guides. How are they? How do they come about to be my guides or your
For
guides?
me personally, I feel that they actually choose you, and you have multiple guides. Sometimes you'll only have one, sometimes you'll have the multiple. It just depends on what's going on in your life and what's needed at that time because they're also working with other people. So you're not their only client. So it's somebody, they're not with you 24/7. So it's like they just pop in. So I've not been trained professionally as a psychic. This is just something that I've learned and I feel, and it's my point of view. Other people may have different thoughts on it. So, but for me, I think you're going to have somebody that's helping you with love, somebody that's helping you with, time management, all this different stuff. They're going to help guide you. And you've got this one that's going to be saying, let's go have some fun. So
Yeah.
it's like that on the different
I listen to
shoulders.
that one quite a lot. I mean, that is definitely one of the 3 I do listen to.
That's why you're not listening to the other one that's saying,
Yeah,
"Don't do
yeah,
that."
probably more sensible. Saying she's crazy, don't do it. That's what that one's doing.
Yep.
Regarding
yeah.
the guides, the if you well, I've told Natalie this. I don't think I've told the guys this, but there have been different points in my life when I was in that place where you're almost asleep but not asleep.
Yeah.
And someone called my name,
Yep.
to the point that it jolted me awake. Would that be a guide doing that, or is that
Sometimes.
okay?
Sometimes it's also a spirit or somebody that's trying to connect with you to get your attention. So, but if it's a guide, so you have to look at what were you doing prior to going to sleep? Were you contemplating something? Were you stressing out? So it's just different things. And that's like I also do dream interpretations because when you're going into dreams, that's something that is processing through the day, processing through the week, processing through the month. And if you're hearing these voices, is it your guide or is it a spirit? Or
Mm.
is it, something else that's trying to get your attention? Because it's not always a good spirit. So it just depends on what's been happening and what's going on in your life at that time. So I can't say specifically, yes, it's a guide.
Okay. I was just curious about that. I figured it was the other side. I wasn't sure, if it
And
was
that's
my
usually what
mom
it
or
is. Yeah.
yeah, I wasn't sure if it's my mom getting after me again or if it was, who knows? But yeah, it
Clean
had
your room, Melissa.
I
It's
know,
only been
right?
25 years. Clean that damn room.
Yeah. Sometimes I feel like I can hear her voice in my head. So I don't know if that's her getting after me or
Well,
just
that is her.
reassuring me or whatever. So
So a lot of people will call when they have their loved ones that continually come to them. They'll call them their guides.
mhm.
Sometimes I think that is true for some, but in most cases, they're just there as that motherly figure. And with her, I don't see her as being a guide. It's just her coming in and saying, "Get your stuff together." You've got a lot of stuff that is going on with you. And it's like there's 3 different paths that you've got that's in front of you right now that you're having to make a choice.
Mm.
And she's trying to help you on which one it should be, and you're not paying attention to what she's pointing out. So
I
it keeps it's obvious. It's obvious.
okay.
So Melissa has choices. That's interesting.
She's got choice.
Amy, I'm going to use my psychic powers. I feel like you have a question there. Is that my...
I did.
Yeah.
Oh
That's
my
what I'm
gosh.
saying. Okay. So that kind of goes in line with my question. It was, if you suspect that you kind of have these abilities, what would be your advice on how to kind of channel those?
Get with somebody that has the experience that can be able to talk with you and just kind of help guide you through this is what you're seeing, because a lot of people will start immediately trying to learn all these different things, concentrate on one thing, and it's like for me, it's like if you're trying to open up, if you've got, some people, I'll tell them, start studying tarot cards. You know, get one tarot card. You want to learn that per week. Learn that to its full extent, then go to the next one. Yes, it's going to take a while, but it's going to open you up. And it's to the point of not everything is paranormal, not everything is spiritual, but a lot of people will go down that road and it's like, just kind of go crazy with it. And it's like, pull back one thing at a time. And then just don't take the one person. You want to talk to multiple people, get your own opinions. And just because I see something, so like your shirt, I think it looks like a magenta color. Somebody else may say it's hot pink. So it just depends on your perception and how you see things.
So you're saying when I've got a gut feeling about something that sometimes it's probably just gas.
With you, probably yes.
100%. Somebody needs to
Be Greg.
and just let it go.
I tell you what, Greg, don't focus on that as a psychic power and keep doing it. We have spent a lot of time with you. I don't want you to perfect your gas.
Well, I did hear that it helps with Alzheimer's if you smell it.
There
There
you
you
go.
go. There's always an upside in anything.
I can't believe y'all never heard of prophetic gas.
Oh my God.
No.
I had a question because one of the things that I asking Natalie about your background and stuff, that you spend some time with and Greg about ghosts and things like that. So one of the questions I was intrigued in is have you ever had to battle a spirit in some capacity, and if so, what were the circumstances and what happened?
So for me on battling, yes. It was actually a client who had some issues and she was sexually assaulted when she was younger and just a lot of stuff going on. And she was from Germany. So she had come over here and she didn't have a lot of people that she could talk to, but she just kept having issues in her home. She felt like she was being attacked at night. She was having things walking around her bed, shaking her bed and all that. So, but it got to the point to where I was going over and working with her. Her house is on Native American grounds. So there's a lot of stuff that was going on there.
Yeah.
But with her personally, she was having dreams, and these dreams were not good. And I had just done a reading with her and had gone over kind of clearing and talking with her. And then I had a dream that night, and this person was coming to me very sexual and was trying to tell me that I needed to come be with him. And it's like, but
The
you're
spirit
not
was.
alive.
So like a
Yes.
spirit.
Yeah.
Right.
So I immediately, the next morning, whenever I got up and I knew she was awake, I called her and I asked her, "Are you contemplating suicide?" And she said yes.
Mm.
And so that was the connection for me battling with him. So that way she did not commit suicide. He came to me as well. But it was something that because of that connection, he was trying to get her to kill herself. And it's just being able to go in and get her in the right set of mind that it's not her, that it's something that she can control this, she can get rid of him. So we had to go in, do the cleansing, and we actually got a priest that came in and helped to bless her. She wasn't oppressed, she was going through a little bit of oppression, but she wasn't possessed.
Right.
So that's the extent of, just helping her with that. So that's the one that stands out mostly for me. But I have been charged by other things, going through mirrors, and I call them like little gnomes and stuff. That this one there was two mirrors. One was at my friend's house, and then the other mirror was at her mother-in-law's house. They had bought them at an antique store, and they kept having stuff going on. Well, as I'm looking in the mirror in my friend's house, I'm explaining what I'm seeing, and it's showing what's at her mother-in-law's house. And that was where it was
Through
reaching.
mirrors, like it was like
Yes.
paralleling. Is that what
Yes.
we're talking about? Yeah.
And this thing was going back and forth. So as I'm pointing it out, it comes rushing through the mirror. And I say it's like a little gnome that was rushing at me and tried to run down, push me down the stairs as it was running by. And then it just disappeared.
Did it look like a gnome?
It looked like a little gnome. That's the only thing that I could, it's like almost like a mini Bigfoot, but gnome size.
So like a little Bigfoot, not like one of the classic gnomes with hats on and beard.
No, not the hats.
Right,
I
right.
just, for me, it was just like the face part of it was the gnome look and just the body, but it was almost the Bigfoot feel as well, but small.
Like a
It
little
wasn't me,
exorcist.
Greg.
I
No,
didn't
was that
say
Greg?
anything.
You were thinking it. I can see it.
My thought clouds are invisible, man.
Not right now.
Not now.
We've got this psychic here. You see the clouds are not invisible, Greg. That's the whole point of this hour with the psychic.
My shields are up, Adam.
Your shields are up. Fair enough.
You didn't put your shields up in time, Greg.
Do you run into shields for real? That's a good question.
Oh, absolutely.
Do you?
Yeah, because I'll have people who'll ask me to do a reading for them, and then it's just this wall, and it's like, well, if you really want me to do the reading, you're going to have to bring down your walls so that way I can read. And she's, well, I don't trust. It's like, and I understand that. Then, it's like, if you want me to read you, you're going to have to allow me to connect.
Mm.
And that's to where it's like, okay, and it's just talking, so for me, it's like whenever I'm doing a reading, just like we're talking now,
Mhm.
I just sit and talk, and it's a conversation, and it puts them at ease. And then, if they're coming in for a 30-minute reading, sometimes I'll sit there for 2 hours, and it's something is just like, you have to be relaxed to be able to open up and allow me to connect with you, because if you have that wall, I'm not going to force my way through. Yes, I can go around, I can go over, I can get in if I wanted to, but that's not what I'm going to do. That's not my place to do that.
Interesting. Okay.
So when you're doing a reading for somebody, have you ever had a situation where something really good's going to happen to somebody in the future, or conversely something really bad? And if so, what would you do about telling them? How do you go about breaking information which may be profoundly important to that person?
I just tell them, if it's something that's going to happen that's good, that's what I'll tell them. Because for me, you've got paths. If you keep on the path that you're on, this is what I see is going to happen. But if you decide to veer off that path and you decide to take a different turn, then like say you're on in a good job, and it's something that's really working for you, and I see you advancing in that job. But if you decide, hey, I'm going to take this other job over here instead, then you're changing your course. But
Yeah.
you could always come back to that other job. So it's just something that's just ways you control your own. I can tell you right now that you're going to win the lottery, and you're going to live a happy life. But then you're so happy you won the lottery and you step out in front of a bus. Well, guess what? You altered your life.
Yeah.
So it's ultimately it's up to you.
Well, I'm not worried about that because I don't play the lottery. So
Well, I'm just it's a
that's not my thing now.
no, it's just an example.
No, of course, but it raises a question, because I'm always interested in time slips and things like that. I was speaking to a guy the other day who had a very strange time slip. So when we talk about accuracy with psychics, because you're always going to be measured as to how accurate you are, that's inevitable, and it must happen. Do you think then that the future, as we see it, because we're now, this is a sort of really odd question, but now we talk about time not being linear necessarily.
Right.
In other words, you can curve time in association with the density of space, etc. Yeah, so space is curved, and therefore time is curved. It's not linear. Yeah. Some dudes are just tuning in and they just get to this point and think, what's going on here, like astrophysics or something. But my point essentially is how fixed is the future? Is it all about life choices as we make it? Is it all about possibilities? So Melissa there has 3 possibilities she could take in the decisions she's making. Are any one of those things an equal possibility, or is there weight given to things? Do you see where I'm coming from? And that's a complex question, but do you see where I'm coming from?
I do. The way I see it is you have an end result that's here. And that end result is you are going to move on, and how you get to that end result, you're going to have all these different streets, these different paths that you're going to take. It's a lot of people just stay on that one street and they just go, but it just depends on, for me, it's like, yes, So to answer your question, yes, I think you're going to get to that end result. It's going to be the same, but how you get there is up to you and
So that's
how.
interesting. So it could be that significant event is fixed,
Yes,
is what you're
I feel
saying.
it is.
It's
Yes.
all about the journey, the different journeys you take. Some are easier and some are harder than others.
Yes. And that's for me, that also takes you into past lives and you reincarnating and completely believe in that, because if you don't get it right in this lifetime, even though you've gotten to here and you haven't learned the lessons that you're supposed to, you're going to reincarnate so that way you can continue those lessons until you actually learn what you're supposed to be learning.
Hmm.
Interesting. So,
How many times have you reincarnated then, MaryLynn?
I have reincarnated a lot.
A lot.
Hundreds of times, and
Hundreds.
hundreds. There's people
Hey,
that,
girl, you made some serious mistakes. You need to.
well, that just means I finally learned.
Joke. I'm only playing.
Yeah, so it's to me, it's to the point of, I feel that when you get to a point and you're in the spiritual part of it and you are working with others and you're helping others and you're on that spiritual path, you're getting to the point to where you have the choice to move on or continue, or you can
Yeah.
go in and be a spirit guide, so it's going to be your choice. I'm at that point to where maybe one or two more lifetimes and I can move on.
And where would you move on to, though? Where are you going?
I don't know. That's the part where we don't know that move on and just be there. You don't have to come back. You don't have to go through any of all this. That's what we want to know. Everybody wants to know that. It's like, and I don't see it. It's something that I see colors, and that's all I see is it's out there.
mhm. Interesting.
But that's where everybody's looking for those answers. And how do you find it?
I did that hypnotic regression years ago. Yeah, so I'm not into possessions really. Look, I don't want to live in a hovel and have a poor life. There's no joy in that. But I don't covet like a sports car or something like that. I'm not desirous of those sort of things, but I am of experiences.
Right.
So I got this present for my birthday. And it was interesting because I wanted to know if your experience was the same. So it was like one of these regression things where you had this hypnotic regression. And the first thing, and I mean this very nicely to French people, but the first thing, because it shocked me, was I was a French guy, yeah, an aristocrat,
Okay.
by a fire, talking to this lady, and we were having a glass of wine. But what was interesting is when I perceived it, and I just wondered if you had the same experience, because like we're watching screens right now, yeah, so I can sense what emotions Natalie, Greg, Jamie, and Melissa might have, but I don't feel them in that
Right.
sense.
Right.
But I felt his emotion, so it was really weird. So I was there and I felt happy. I was having a glass of wine, having a good time talking to a nice young lady, and it was a nice thing. We were friends. It wasn't like I don't feel like it was a relationship thing, but I was having a nice time. Is that what you felt, or am I completely off the ball? Because I don't mind you saying.
Nope, that to me is you're feeling those. So my co-star, Mike, he tells the story of, he put it perfectly. So if you are reincarnating, so if you have a pet, what's the name of your pet?
Mine now.
Yes.
Oh, she's here. She's called. I call her Base Commander as a joke, but her real name is Ella, and she's a dog.
Let's
Okay.
see her.
So if something were to happen
She's
to
snoring.
Ella,
I was wondering if she was gonna like come on the thing because like she's not. You can't see her right now, but that's what she's doing.
so if Ella were to pass away right now, how would you feel?
I'd be very upset.
You're devastated.
Yeah.
So in the past, can you remember any in your past lives? Can you remember any of your pets' names?
No.
So that's because you are not remembering everything. So look at it. The way Mike put it was, imagine a snake. When
Yes.
a snake sheds its skin, that's him getting rid of the past lives. That's him coming into and reincarnating. But when the snakes come through, they don't always get rid of every piece of skin. You're going to see sometimes that stuff comes through. And so when you're feeling those emotions, I say that if you are really big into collections, like for me, I love calendars, I like pens, so I collect different things. Those collections are something that from a past life is something that you had back then and you're wanting to bring those forward. So that's why you're collecting them and you're so drawn to those. When you go to a location, that piece of skin, you feel like you've been there. That piece of skin is still stuck, and that's what's coming through is that reincarnation. So you have those emotions, and then when you connect with something, you're going to remember just that. And that's where those feelings of that Frenchman come through because you were connected with that part. When you open that door and when you're doing those past life regressions, that's when you're reconnecting.
Well, I'll tell you a story, because there was another one where I was a noble. I won't talk about that, but I want to affirm your point, because I wasn't sure that I was going to share this, but I don't mind. So the last past life I saw, it wasn't something that I think is particularly well. I was a German U-boat commander, and I saw this guy. I saw him, and I saw the U-boats get sunk by depth charges in 1944. I looked it up, and the guy had a way of sitting, because they showed all the German U-boat commanders, the ones that were there, because they had an 80% mortality rate in the Second World War. They died, and I looked him up, and he sat exactly like I did, in a certain way. And I saw two of my friends. The last things I saw were two of my friends from England, who I'm still friendly with, drowning in the U-boat with me. I saw one of them float in the water, and I was below him, and I knew I was going to die at that point.
Right.
And for months afterwards, I had a problem with my breathing when I thought about being underwater and all of that lot. And I'm trained as a scuba diver. I was a champion swimmer. That was my thing,
Right.
and I wondered whether I was that thing because of that. But also I had those feelings of anxiety. And it was really weird. And I haven't really talked about that too much, but just thought
And
I'd
that
mention
is something that you'll bring forward, and that does cause those anxieties. Like for me, I'm afraid of heights because I actually went off I don't like bridges because I've had two past lives where I've gone off a bridge in
Wow.
a vehicle and drowned with my kids and I couldn't save them. So that's something that for the anxiety, you're going to feel that, but why? And that's when you do that past life. But like you're saying, you were a diver and you were, trained with that. You did that subconsciously because of a past life. You were
Yeah.
taking control of that fear that you've had because you knew that you would pass by drowning and you addressed it. So that's where, but even though now you're feeling those anxieties, you know that you're not drowning and you're okay.
Yeah, I think that's very cool, because and it's something I'd recommend people to do sometime.
Yeah.
Actually, that hypnotic regression. I think you learn quite a lot. So
So
yeah,
I
just
actually do past life regressions.
yeah, I
do.
can well believe that.
We had that conversation where we were talking about dreams about past lives, and yeah, I've had a couple of them, and they were very, very real.
Yes.
And I remember them to this day, and it was just incredible. So yeah,
Give
I'll
us
have
one, Nat. Give us one, because I've shared one. Share
yeah,
one.
so
If you don't mind.
absolutely. So I was a very tall woman and it was the winter time. I was very sick. I was in a bed. It was in a very rustic log cabin. The quilt that was placed over me was a patchwork quilt, and there was an oil lamp on a dresser. My sister walked in, and I have no siblings right now, by the way. My sister walked in and asked me if I was okay, and saying that we were going to have to go. And so they bundled me up, and I had one sister on one arm and the other sister on the other arm, and we were fleeing. And I looked up the hill, and there were soldiers from the Revolutionary War going into the tree line, almost making sure that it was secure for us to go. And I remember looking at everybody in the snow, and I said I didn't know if we were going to make it or not. And that's when I woke up.
Hmm. And did you feel the emotions in the way that,
very much. And I even
because it's
felt,
so weird, that trip.
I
It's
felt
really,
very weak. I felt very sad for my family. I felt responsible because here are my sisters trying to get me up the hill and flee, and I'm feeling like they need to be running. And so I looked at the soldiers up ahead, and they were just making sure everything was safe inside the forest. And I felt that we weren't going to make it.
So is there a battlefield that you're actually drawn to, kind of like Gettysburg or Gatlinburg, or is there somewhere that you're actually drawn to? Because I'm thinking
I'm
of
always
Gatlinburg,
drawn to the Smoky Mountains.
Smoky Mountains. Okay.
I when I go, and I think I've told Adam and Greg this
yeah,
before,
yeah.
there's a place, and that when every time I go up there and I go to Townsend, there's a place that I crest over that hill, and I immediately, like, all of the stress and anxiety leave my body, and I'm like, I'm at home. I'm home.
Mm.
I'm at peace, and I'm home. And that's when I feel like there's the whole world just is shut down, and I'm here, and this is where I belong.
That's
So
and
that
of
is,
course, there was a lot of battles around. The Tennessee was a big battleground for the Civil War,
yes.
and around here, I mean, because I live, MaryLynn, in Maryville, which is 25 minutes away from Townsend, so
Oh,
I
okay.
live in the area Natalie's talking about,
Yeah.
Okay.
and it was a big area for Civil War battles and
Right.
things. So yeah,
Yeah.
Well, Natalie, I feel that because you're so drawn to that, that is the lifetime that you were in, is that past life. That is where you were the happiest in any of your lifetimes. So that's why you feel so comfortable when you go there. It feels like home to you.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank
Mhm.
you. Awesome. This has been amazing. Thank you so much. So, yeah, because I always wondered about that, and I always thought about that dream and some other ones, but this was the most profound one,
Yes.
very much so. So, when you go out and you're investigating and doing, your rounds, so to speak, do you ever look into the property or area before you go in to kind of investigate, or do you just go in cold?
I go in cold because I don't want to have any preconceived stories or anything knowing about the property. I know there's a lot of stuff that's on TV and I've watched episodes and stuff, but I completely forget where those are. So, it's like I don't associate that. It's like whenever I come up, it's like it almost looks familiar, but it's like no, just and it's like for me, it's like I want to go in cold. I want to feel what I'm seeing, or just okay, this is what here. And a lot of times it'll connect with things that have happened on previous shows or something there. But then I also get other stories that is like, well, they're gonna have to check on that because there's other things that come through. And I seem to connect a lot with the women that are there because of just the heartache and all the stuff that they've gone through and just the frustrations and you know just everything that they had to deal with. And it's just, for me, I like to go in not knowing anything.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So, has there been any particular place that you've been to, MaryLynn, that you thought had the highest level of activity? A place that you think, oh, I'd really like to go back there, but I haven't yet been. And if so, why?
For me, Trans-Allegheny, going into the insane asylum, into the lobotomy area.
Lobotomy area of an insane asylum. That sounds pretty intense.
It was extremely intense. So
Don't draw that with your crayons, Greg. I don't want to see it.
yeah, that one was, they were doing a lot of experiments on people, and it's, they were doing the lobotomies and a lot of kids. And just because if they started acting out, they got a lobotomy, and it's something that there were so many spirits there that I got overwhelmed and actually had to leave the property for just a little bit and then go back in because I had to do a reset because it was like they were just swarming. And I don't normally move things on whenever I go to a location. Natalie and I did one.
Yeah.
But at Trans-Allegheny, there was this group of kids and group of people that were just there, the spirits, and it's like they didn't know what was going on. They didn't understand. And a friend of mine, he is a shaman, and he was with the camera and is like he was seeing them too. And they were asking to move on. It's like, I can't not do this. There's so many people here, that's asking for help. And they just started lining up. It's like, okay, there's, and open the door, and they just started going through. And it's like, there was some, it's like, we're not supposed to. And it's like, well, it's your choice. And there was like, that night was a group of 13 people that we helped to move on. And like I said, I don't normally do that, but that location is the one that I would absolutely love to go back to just to see what else is there, and just see if there's other people that I can help to move on. Because on that one, I would.
Why can't they move on? I mean, why are they trapped here? I mean,
Because
some might choose to be here, I know, but the ones that are trapped here, why can't they move?
because they don't know that they can. Because sometimes if you have so much mental issues and they've done the surgeries and they've taken half of your brain out, it's like, what are you have no control. And so when they pass with no control over on the other side, they still don't have control. So
No.
just because you cross over doesn't mean things are just automatically where you have that ability to take control of what you want to do. So they're there, they're stuck, and it's just their day to day stuff. And it's like they have to relive it over and over again. They wanted to go, but didn't know how to. And nobody ever offered to help them move on.
I have a question about cryptids.
Mhm.
I don't know if you've had any experiences with them. If you have, what kind of cryptid do you think it was, and what do you think they are?
I have not had an experience with cryptid other than when we did the filming with Greg and we heard the noises in the background, heard the grunts and the groans, and I can just feel their presence there. But that's the only time I've done, had anything. And that's where I'm with Natalie with the blues, the blondes, and the booze. So we're going to start going out doing cryptid hunting and stuff like that. So that's where I'm experiencing something that I've never done and really excited to get out and learn that.
Awesome.
Yeah. We're heading out in March.
We are.
Well, MaryLynn, we're getting we're closing in on the hour. Where can people find you? What do you have like on the horizon for yourself and for your co-host Mike? And what's the possibilities of people being able to see you somewhere?
Well, I'm going to be at Relic and for the premiere on January 31st. And then you can find me on Facebook under MaryLynn Bast. And then we've also got Lost Goat Productions. You can find us. We're on Facebook, YouTube, Lost Goat Podcast as well. And then also on Blondes and Booze podcast too. Um, I'm going to be actually this weekend going to an event down in Lafayette. I'm doing gallery readings down there and then hanging out with the group and doing investigations. So do all kinds of paracons and just going all over the place. And some of the projects we have coming up, I'm working with several different groups with Lost Goat Productions, making other TV series. So we're also just finished filming for Para with the Normal season 2. And so that will be releasing probably February, March, and we'll have that on Stream Beacon TV.
Awesome.
Excellent. Yeah. Natalie, do you have final questions?
Yes, MaryLynn. So do you have a location that you would like to go to? Like it's on your bucket list that you want to go see that you haven't been to before?
I want to go to Dracula's castle.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, that would be fun. That would be fun.
Yeah, I don't know. I know there's a name for it, but I don't know the name. But it's like I would love to go there. But like if I was taking a trip, I would do Ireland and Scotland and just go to all the castles there. If I could just do a unlimited trip, I would go just do that for a month. And
Wales has some good castles as well. Go to
Okay.
Wales. There's loads in the north of Wales. Yeah.
I would love to go do that.
Yeah. Adam, do you have any last questions?
No, I'm good. MaryLynn, I've really enjoyed talking to you. Thank you
You
so
as
much.
well.
It's good
Thank
to
you.
meet you.
You too.
Jamie. Any last questions?
I was just going to ask, where in the body do you sense things first?
My head. Yep. For me, it's in my third eye. And then I'll feel it in my heart. And then I feel it in my throat. And because I also do chakra alignments and balancing for people. And I can actually feel when somebody has medical issues too. So that's where then if I'm connecting with somebody, I'll feel their pain. So if I don't acknowledge it, that pain stays there until I ask them if they have that pain going on. And it's usually spot on.
That is so awesome. Thank you.
And
You're welcome.
Melissa,
Thank you.
I just want to know if you have a website or where we could find you online.
Yeah, it's you can find me at parawiththenormal.com and then also Sidekicks Paranormal. It's PSYDKICKS Paranormal, and all of my websites are all linked to that one. So you click there, you're going to get everywhere.
Awesome. Okay, thank you. It's been such a
Thank you.
pleasure speaking with you. It's been fun.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
well, MaryLynn, thank you so much. Greg, any last remarks, questions, or gas?
It's going to be gas.
Wait for that.
It's gonna be gas.
Kick gas and his crayons.
All out of crayons. I can't write down my questions, so.
Oh no. Well, MaryLynn, thank you so much. It's always a pleasure, and you have been amazing, so informative, and thank you so much. This is another episode of Beyond the Ordinary.